Right. Okay, guys, I am finally made it. We're in Birmingham. We're about to attend the D.F.L.A.
Yep.
And I have managed to grab somebody who I have admired for a long time, but I've not managed to have like personal conversations with you.
No, not so
We've
much.
messaged, but because of the ether, it just kind of disappears, and we've not been able to get back to one another. So I was buzzing when I seen you there in your lovely red jacket, as bright as anything, accompanies
Stand out
you.
like a sore thumb, don't I?
So I'd like to say hello to BRIT GIRL.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. A bit chilly.
A bit chilly.
Bit chilly. Been here for a few hours.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
okay. So
standing in the
how was your journey down here? Is that okay?
Pretty wet, to be honest.
Oh, right.
We've got here in about 2.5 hours. 350 miles.
Oh, my word. Right, are you going back tonight?
No, staying tonight.
Oh, so at
Yeah,
least you
hotel.
can relax a
Having
little
some
bit.
drinks after.
Right.
Really looking forward to today. It's going to be really good, I think.
So, BRIT GIRL, because I know you're opinionated.
Am I?
What makes you think that?
What on earth? Oh, dear.
So, I've already put my opinions out about the D.F.L.A. and the F.L.A. Can I have your take on it all, please?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say it's utterly ridiculous.
Yep.
It's the split. I don't agree with any split division. The only way we are ever going to achieve anything is by coming together. But we've done this for moral reasons, and this is what
Yep.
people have to understand. The
Yep.
veterans would not abandon a side unless there was a good reason, and this is what people have to look at, is
Yep.
why. And they're not idiots. They've seen the proof, they've seen the evidence. They haven't just done this on a whim. This hasn't been some just quick decision. This has been brewing for months. He's had months and months to do the right thing.
Be
to
transparent.
Either hand the money out over or step down.
Yeah.
He's refused to do either, and that's why it's now come to this split.
Well, it's almost like a dictatorship because he's banning people as soon as he... And that's
are.
the allegation.
Yeah.
And, well, it's more than an allegation because I've seen screenshots.
I have as well. And
You know?
read the messages and listened to the voice clips of him saying he's going to get
Yep.
rich. And why would somebody set up a public limited company if they're not intending on making money?
Yep.
You set up a not-for-profit if your
Yep.
intentions are good.
Yeah.
And he's the sole director. And this is meant to be an alliance, the Football Lads Alliance, not Football Lads Dictatorship.
Yep.
And it's not why it was set up, and it's not the reason it was set up, and that's why the D.F.L.A, the Democratic Football Lads Alliance, has a council with 20 people. There's no leader. Everything is done democratically, and all decisions are made as a group, so that it's run with transparency and clarity and with ethics. And this is what I stand for. I won't abide anybody stealing from our veterans or for anybody else.
Yeah.
So all
Well,
we
what-
have to do is stand down, and we can all unite.
Why follow a movement if it hasn't got any morals? What's the point? That's what the left do.
I know.
And we're not like that. And probably, that's probably our own downfall. And I say because I actually am, by saying that, identifying with the right.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in left, right. I just believe in real people,
I believe
real
in common
opinions.
sense
Exactly.
and decency and just decency, really. That's it. There seems to be a real lack of it these days, and a lot of lack of self-responsibility. Something is always somebody else's fault, and I don't agree with that. People should take responsibility for themselves.
And don't
their
get involved.
actions. Exactly. Stay out of business that doesn't concern you.
Yeah.
And take responsibility for your actions.
Yeah.
If he's done wrong, just apologise.
Yeah.
And say, look, I did wrong. Here you go. I stepped down, and then we can all unite again. But
To
he
be
won't.
fair, he's had so many chances to do that.
There's so many, absolutely. He's
And
had
that's
months
what's-
and months and months. This has been brewing since November, so
Yep.
it's been going on for absolutely months.
Is that your phone going?
Oh, it's my friend Mark. Just let me just
It's a nice tune you got there.
a bit of Craig David.
Oh, yeah.
Go see him.
I don't know if to talk to him and start dancing. Like, what's going on here?
He should be arriving now.
Right, okay. So who are you here with today then?
I've come down with Kelly, who's one of the admins from the D.F.L.A.
Yes, I spoke to her.
Yeah,
Lovely
she lives
lady.
in my town, so
Right.
we live quite close to each other.
Right.
Which we found out, and so yeah, we go up today together. And I've come up with RB Inman,
Right.
leader of DFLA, and a few of the other admin guys.
Right.
And just basically, I'm not really affiliated with anyone. I'm just myself and BRIT GIRL, and but I support anyone who stands up against the shit that's happening in Britain. And the lack of morality and the corruption within government and policing and the court system, like Count Dunkula. I mean, it's just the most laughable. I was speaking to one of the police liaison officers this morning. He hadn't even heard of it, and when I told him what had happened,
You're joking.
he was like, I can't believe that that's actually happened. He couldn't believe it. And this was one of the Asian police liaison officers who's walking on the march with us. And I've been chatting to him all morning, really nice guy, but he was completely unaware of what was going on, and he said that's complete abuse of our justice system.
You sure?
And this is coming from one of the police officers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this stuff is going on insidiously in our courts all across the country. People are having their voices taken away, they're having their right to free speech, which we still have. Under Article 19 of the Human Rights Act, we still have the right to free speech. The whole world does. And it's being eroded, and we are being silenced and shut up. And I have, to be honest, if I didn't have children, I probably would be one of the blissful ignorants who sit there and just live in their little bubble of ignorance and pretend that the world is all rosy. But I can't, in all good conscience, sit back and allow what's happening to Britain happen.
Once you've opened Pandora's box, it's hard to close it, isn't it?
It is incredibly hard to close it.
You know, and there's a lot of sorrow for anyone who would, once they know, to then go, well, you know what, this is too much for me, I'm just going to get on with my life, go along to get along. Now I've gone so far, I feel I've got to go even further.
Yeah.
And that is a dangerous prospect, which leads me to my next question. Doing what you're doing, how long have you been, how long have you had your channel, BRIT GIRL?
My channel has been, well, it was taken off for a while, but I've had it for around 9 months now.
Right.
It all came about by accident because of Bill Etheridge, who blocked me for asking why it was far right to stand up for our freedom.
Right.
From that, I launched my first video, and it came out, and it went viral, and that lost me my first Facebook account, so I then put it onto YouTube, and from that BRIT GIRL was born. I then did my video about the Barcelona Declaration, exposing the corruption within our government, who literally sold us down the river of blood. And people are completely unaware of what's going on in the EU with the Agenda 30 and the Caligy Plan, all of these things that are going on behind closed doors.
They're all intertwined.
They're all completely intertwined. They're all strings of the same puppet, but they're all parts, they all operate different parts. And it's happening all across Europe and the Western world. And this is why it's imperative that we get Brexit, it's imperative that we get out from underneath the dictatorship of the EU. And it's important that our voices are heard. We are the people, they are our servants, not our masters. And this is what people need to remember.
Yeah, people power.
Yeah.
Really is.
And we have to take it back.
Yeah. Now, I've said this last week at Speaker's Corner. I think what's happening now, we're starting to build the odd person up as the leader and build them right up as the ultimate person. When in reality, when you do that, they're becoming the nail, the hammer comes out to hammer them down, which then ruins us. Because we're left then, well, who's going to lead us now? You know, you can see what you're doing with Tommy Robinson and everyone else who's up there, who's trying to make a stand. Like you've just said, to me, we all should be the Tommy Robinson in a sense. Like Walking Dead, I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's a group there called Negan. And each one of them, I am Negan. And that's what we need. We need the attitude now where we're all just as strong and all just as audible and articulate as Tommy. Now, by that, you've got to be responsible in the way you conduct yourself, you know. But by doing that, people power, we can overturn this in an hour if we all got on the same page. Instead of just holding one person up and hoping he's going to solve all our problems. And that man is practically being burnt at the stake at this moment in time. It's almost like the new Jesus Christ. I'm not saying Tommy's Jesus Christ, but I'm just saying you get vilified, to the point where they're going to take him down. You're going to get a Pontius Pilate that's going to deal with him. And then where does that leave the people? So with that in mind, with what you're doing, how do you feel mentally with what you're doing and with all the comments that come in, whether they be positive, negative, and just where you're at mentally with what you're doing, the way it's growing? How do you feel?
To be honest, it was scary at first.
Yep.
I mean, you put yourself out there and you're opening yourself up to criticism and the hate speech. And I get some most awful messages threatening against my daughter and my family. But to be honest, the people who make threats rarely follow them through. It's the ones who don't make the threats that you have to worry about. But I would say probably 95% of the messages I get are in support from people who are either too scared to speak out, they're worried about losing their jobs, their houses, their mortgages, the ramifications for their families, and this is what's keeping us silent. This is why people don't speak out. This is why people aren't standing up for liberty and freedom and democracy and our freedom to speak. We have a God-given right to free speech. We cannot think critically and question anything nowadays without somebody accusing us of being far right or racist. I'm not far right, I'm far righteous. I know that what I'm saying is right, I know that what I'm saying is true, and I know what I'm saying is correct. And if that makes me far right, in somebody's opinion, then I will wear that badge with honour, because it's only by speaking out that we're ever going to achieve anything. And the thing that annoys me the most is the people who say, well, why don't you talk about this, or why don't you talk about that? I say, my rebuttal to them is, well, why don't you? Why don't you speak out about it? Why don't you make a video? Why don't you voice your
You're not
opinion?
a jukebox.
No, exactly. I don't take requests.
Yeah.
I speak about what I'm passionate about. If you're passionate about something, open your gob and say it. Just everyone has a right to speak. Everyone should. If we all started speaking out, they couldn't silence us all.
You can't.
They can't silence us all.
And if we're all just determined to say, well, if you're going to do me for that, you're going to do another 3, 4, 5,000 people that are doing exactly the same thing, they will have to change. At the moment, they've created such a fear climate that it's easy for them just to pick the odd one. Right, you're the wrong one. Yeah. And then everyone goes, oh. It's like, we need to do it. We need to stand up, because we can see now that the police state is starting to rally round us, circling, as they say. Yeah. So it does take that. I mean, how far can you see this going with what you're doing? Can you see because the reason why I said that, you messaged me asking for a collaboration, which I didn't see for a long time after. I read it, replied to it. I then instantly went to your channel, was watching a couple of videos, totally impressed. And then there was one where you were in the car and you were totally pissed off. Yeah. You'd had a bad day. Yeah. And I thought that's what made me actually reply, because I could see what was going on and I could see how disillusioned you was, and you were kind of angry because you were almost not taking it out on people, but you were being angry, saying, why ain't more people standing up? What's wrong with you? Yeah. Now that was honest and it was true. Tell me your thoughts when you were going through that video, what was going on?
Well, that day I'd lost my 5th Facebook profile. Right. And the people say, well, it's just Facebook. Well, the one that I lost, it was an 8-year-old profile. It had irreplaceable pictures of my friends and family on. Right. Videos of my daughter that I'll never be able to replace. Yeah. They don't even give you the opportunity to take it. It's my intellectual profit. Of course it is. Intellectual property that belongs to me. They don't give you the opportunity to take that off you. And they just, anyone who has any opinions that deviate from the left, they are seen as evil and wrong. And there's nothing that I say that is evil or wrong. There's nothing remotely racist or fascist about me. I'm standing up for freedom for everybody. Yeah. The first victims of Islam are Muslims. I will be the first person to say that. I say it in every video that I have. It's the most intolerant religion. And we're allowing it to thrive within our nation. And we are, not only that, we're allowing our government and our police to cover up. I mean, the grooming gang scandals, it's been going on for 40 years in this country. The police, social services, the government, they have all been aware of what's been happening to our children for 40 years, and they have done nothing. And they expect us to sit there in silence and just accept that they're eroding our government, they're eroding our country, they're eroding our morals, our decency, our beliefs. If you're a white Christian in this country, you are next to nothing. You have no rights, and you cannot say anything that you want to say. You can't voice your opinion, you can't do anything without being labelled as something. If people want to put a label on someone, that's up to you. I'm nothing. I'm just a mum with concerns for my daughter's future. I have lived all over this country. I was born in Bradford. I moved to near Luton. I've seen what happens in these towns. I've seen how it is insidious, and it spreads out and it grows, and it's utterly wrong. And we should not be tolerating a mass abuse of children. Because they can call it grooming gangs, it's child abuse on a mass scale that is happening in this country. And it is utterly barbaric, and it's abhorrent. And these children are then going to grow up with mental health problems and issues, and they are going to be left in the gutter. And I'm not allowed to talk out about that. I don't think so.
But the irony is, it doesn't matter what race of people were doing that. No. I would vilify them all the same.
I absolutely vilify anyone who touches a child.
It's disingenuous again for them to go, well, because you're talking about that, look, you can see the colour of the skin, so because of that, you can't do this. And that vilifies you as a white lady, but just as an individual where you've grown up with a set of morals that you know, as an opinionated person, I'm sure you brought your kids up absolutely brilliantly, to the point now, using your morals, using your opinions, and this, that, and the other. Now, how all of a sudden is that not allowed anymore? And what you're saying all of a sudden is wrong. Your kids are all right. if your kids were walking around doing the goose walk because of the way you've brought them up over the past whatever years, then it'd be like, all right, you know, Brit Girl, you know, we can see you're a bit of a wrong in there, but it's not.
No, my daughter is taught to love everybody and respect everybody equally.
Yep.
But she's also taught that she's not to accept bullying, harassment. She's not to bully anyone.
Yep.
She's to accept all religions and faiths and everyone and love them. But she's not to tolerate injustice. She's not and to free think. I teach her not to believe everything that I tell her. To go out and, this is my stepdaughter, to go and look for herself, investigate. Don't believe everything that you're taught in schools. Don't believe everything that the media tells you. Don't believe, just go out and find out for yourself. Because we are fostering a whole society of people who they're not able to think for themselves anymore. They just believe whatever they say on the BBC or on the ITV News or whatever crap news story they're coming out with Russia or whatever agenda that they've got. And there is an agenda behind everything. People need to learn that the government do not have our best interests at heart. They have their own interests at heart. And their interests are destroying our nation and our beautiful continent and the whole of Europe. It's happening in every country across Europe except for the Eastern Bloc. And the reason that it's not happening in the Eastern Bloc is because they're not accepting it. And the EU don't like that. And that's why they're now starting this whole Eastern European Russian narrative, is to create a frenzy of people, make people scared and force them to stay within the EU. We don't want to stay in the EU. We voted out. How dare they call Putin undiplomatic for their elections? When 2 years ago we voted to leave the EU, and they are filibustering and stalling it at every opportunity that they can. And it's utterly abhorrent, it's wrong. If we live in a democratic society, then deliver the vote that we
wanted. Yeah.
We voted to leave, yet we're still in there.
It's a mafia.
It's an absolute mafia.
And they won't let you leave, you know.
They are servants, not our masters, and that's what we have to remember.
We do indeed.
So, it's our part.
Brit Girl, it's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you. I hope to do a live stream at some point. I have no idea when or where, because I'm like you, I'll go home and then before you know it, I'm folding, washing and peeling carrots.
Yeah, making dinner and doing
and getting on with it. Yeah, so it's like how to integrate it all. My head's all over the place.
And not let it take over your life.
Yeah, I was an hour ago, I still had Speaker's Corner in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, this is a new gig, get it out, you know. It's like, it's coming quick.
It is.
Quick.
The snowball has started rolling.
Yes.
It's gathering momentum. You can feel it. You can feel the tension within Britain is boiling.
Yep.
You can feel it. You can feel that people are starting to wake up. I get messages every day from people who say, thank you for this video, especially my Barcelona declaration. People aren't aware of the utter corruption within the EU.
Yep.
What they've signed us up for, these treaties that they've signed us up for, that they're not going to let us get out of without a bloody good fight, and that's what we have to do.
We have to stand up.
We don't fight with our fists, we fight with knowledge and with the truth, and by speaking truth to power. That's the only way we will ever achieve anything.
I mean, this is an unfair fight, but as long as we keep doing what's right and true, then at least you're true to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want to start, even though I know they're playing unfairly, I don't want to play unfair.
No, I don't.
You know, it just, there's no point to that.
And we know that what we're saying is true because it's gathering momentum. More and more people are coming to every march that we have. More and more people are waking up to the realities every day. People are seeing what's happening. Yesterday, a terrorist attack in France. Again, 11 people injured, 2 dead. I mean, how many more of these is it going to take before people literally wake up and go, look, enough is enough now?
The sophistication behind the media is that they'll blame us for that because they'll say, well, you're generating hate, so look at it. It's our fault.
Hateful about me.
Our fault.
Nothing hateful about me.
What is going on? So, Brit Girl, how can people reach you?
On YouTube, Brit Girl, that's that. Or I'm on Gab. I'm not on Facebook or Twitter anymore. They've removed me from there because I'm so hateful.
I love your sarcasm. I love it. I love it. And it's like you're exacerbating. Well, you know, they're going to do this.
But I'm on Gab. You can follow me on there. Just Brit Girl. Search Brit Girl and you'll find me somewhere.
Brilliant.
And send me an email, starshine24@gmail.com. And I always reply if I can. So.
Brilliant. So what are you hoping? One last question. What are you hoping to get out today?
Today, unity, making connections with people, networking, spreading the truth, the message that we're not here to hate anyone, we love everyone. We just want to live in a free and democratic society where we're not scared to walk down the street having acid on our face or being blown up or our children being groomed. We want to Brexit. Just give us what we bloody voted for. Yeah. You are our servants. It's about time you were put in your place.
Stop treating us like children.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Brit Girl. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let's go back and join the crew, shall we?
Yes, let's go and join the march.
Okay, doke. Right, that's where it's all happening. That's the meeting point, guys. Oh, we've got a round of applause here. Thank you very much, guys.
Are you BRIT GIRL?
I am BRIT GIRL.
I love your work.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
And you as well, sir.
thank you, sir.
I even
what's-
have the
what's
t-shirt
your
to
lot?
prove it. Look, somebody sent me this. A fan sent me this. I don't know who it was, but I thank them for whoever sent me
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, superwoman.
She is. I've seen some of the videos. It's absolutely fantastic. Sit there and break it down.
Are you filming now?
Well, I am. Yeah, we've just done an interview, so we've kind of done.
You've asked her and that.
Yeah.
You've asked the right questions there.
Right, I've tried, mate.
I want to see me
Yeah.
and BRIT GIRL together on YouTube.
We're
a selfie with you. I think.
we're going to plan something, but thank you very much. I'm going to leave you guys to
Yeah,
it.
my friend's arrived. I've got to go and find him.
right.
Yeah, because it's all going to start soon
Yeah,
if we've not
kicking
sorted
off.
ourselves
Well,
out.
not kicking off, but starting.
Well, oh, Freudian slip there. True intentions of the BRIT girls come out there. I'm staying away from her. I knew she was a wronging. Right, Red Pill Phil, guys, it's all starting now. Looking like we're all congregating. There's more and more people here. So keep tuned, guys. Like and subscribe. Love you all, even the pissing haters. See you later.